Hello and welcome back to the B Team. I am here with Jennie and Jordan, and we're picking up right where we left off. You guys fought well and managed to defeat opponents and survive and come out with a small marble emanating a reddish, orangish glow and swirling color within. You reached out using your magically imbued tattoo and contacted Lord Finoop to let him know. He responded with a message saying, "Excellent. Meet me back in the town." And that's where we pick up. Battered and beaten, you leave the shrine.
Okay. Do we want to take a short rest before we go anywhere? Because I feel like I don't think you're doing too well, are you?
Yeah, I think we definitely do need a little bit of a rest before we meet up.
Okay, we'll just take a short rest and we'll talk about what we're going to do.
Somewhere between the shrine and the town? Like just out in the wild? Like a little...
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe closer to the shrine, like right outside.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys get outside of the shrine. You go maybe like 100 yards away from the shrine, so it's still like in sight, but you're kind of out there. You set up a little camp, which is pretty easy because you guys are used to being on the road. And you are able to take a short rest. So you can use some of your hit dice if you want. You don't need that much, Jordan. How much down are you?
Yeah, how down are you? Do you need me to? You need some help?
I have 27 right now.
27. Okay.
I think I'm gonna use.
So you could
8.
use like a couple of your hit dice to heal up during the short rest, and she can.
If
Do you have any spell slots left, or did you?
I have 5.
Okay.
So if you need anything, you can use. You have D10 hit dice. So.
Yeah. So then I just like roll it and I add to my health whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
So during a rest, your pool of hit dice, you can use a couple of those and or if you need to just go all out, and then you recoup half of your hit dice that you've expended every long rest.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, well I'll use one right now. So I got 2 back.
You might want to use a little bit more than 1.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll use like
you are
3.
at 27.
Okay.
So that's 2, 8,
So that's
10.
10 plus 7, 17.
Okay.
So you're back at full health, right? 44.
So and you are you going to use a couple hit dice or just one or none?
Yeah, I'm just gonna use 1. Okay. We're good.
Okay. So you guys rest a little bit, maybe eat a little bit of some rations. Do you do anything else during the short rest?
I just kind of want to talk to you about, we have this thing now. You have it on your person in a little cloth. When we get back to the inn, what are we just like giving this to him? Because I know that we both have like signed into this deal, but I don't know how I feel about just handing it to him. Because when we walked in there, I recognized those orbs as, part of something to do with the gods. So I'm starting to second guess if we should just hand this over to him.
Yeah, I would agree. I can comprehend that whatever it is, I don't know much, but I know it has to hold great power. And if people are getting murdered over it, I don't really know what's going on. But I think we do need to establish exactly what this can do and what this organization is planning on doing with it.
I agree. I think we should take this up with him. Maybe you take this up with him because you have it on you and you're a better talker. So, but I think that we shouldn't just like hand this to him.
Yes, I would not be too weary of someone like this, because we've only just started this organization. And well, just like you, I don't want to see these paladins and these organizations, these ruling classes try to get away with it. We can't just jump on the first ship, if you know what I mean.
Okay. So I think that's what we do in short rest.
Okay. You guys kind of talk it over, and then after a little bit, you kind of pack up, head back towards town. It doesn't take that long, maybe like a 20-minute walk. You get back into the town. You go back to the inn. You go up to the room where you would expect to meet Fainu. And you see outside of the inn is, first of all, there's a carriage, and there's like 4 workers like loading stuff up, like baggage basically and stuff. As you're going up to the room, Fainu is actually walking out. He's like, "What took you so long?" He's like, "Come quickly. We'll have to talk in my carriage." He just walks by you, and he's like, "Come on." So you guys go down.
Yeah. Yes.
He gets into the carriage. It's a spacious, like, noble person carriage, like upholstered everything. Like the entire inside of the carriage is just like velvet, blah blah blah, and nice, well-appointed things. There's like actually like a hooded lantern in there in case you wanted additional light, and there's like drapes over the windows. It's very nice. He goes in, you guys get in, and he says, I'm going to need to ask you for another favor. I'm glad that you were able to recover the tear. Can I see it?
Yeah, so I take it out and I hold it close to myself, but I reveal from the cloth the object.
He doesn't reach for it. He just looks at it and he's like, "Yes, that is it. Well done." I must go to the far northwest of Kabul Kailish. There's a town there. It's actually more like a kind of a fort with a town built around it, and there's a monastery there. It's called Kadimki Gala. I must go there to meet up with some other members of our organization. I received word that our expedition there has been moving at a great pace, and actually they've come very close to completing the expedition. So I need to get there rather quickly. Unfortunately, I cannot use magical means to do so. I'm going to head west, make a quick stop in the capital on my way to Kadimki Kala. However, you cannot go to the capital. I do not want to risk bringing the tear that close to enemies who reside in the capital. Therefore, I must ask you to instead take a slightly more dangerous route, but nonetheless meet me in Kadimki Kala. So while I travel slightly northwest and then from the capital go west to Kadimki Kala, I would ask that you travel due west along the main road. There are dangers, to be sure, along the main road. There have been an increase in the number of Quotient barbarians. The tribes have been restless, to say the least. They have been conducting raids throughout the center of the country. So you'll need to be careful of the barbarian hordes, number one. Number two, and what I'm actually more concerned about, is the potential threat of Mantirum wizards who might be looking for the tear. So trust no one to begin with, and also do not trust wizards specifically, because the Mantirum can be very tricky. They can present themselves in a variety of different disguises. So you would know if I am actually me through this. And he points to the tattoo that you guys both have. If someone were to impersonate me, they would not be able to use this tattoo. Someone who might know of this tattoo could appear to have it, but would not be able to do a sending to you, as I can. If there is an emergency of any kind, do not hesitate to use the sending to contact me. I am hoping that since the two of you can move swiftly and without making a lot of attention, that you can make it through the center country and then meet me in Kadimki-Kala. Now, I have the payment for you and travel expenses. So once I leave, delay yourselves about maybe a half an hour, purchase some horses and the necessary provisions for the road. He gives you each pouch, which contains both gold and silver. Gold and platinum. So each one of you gets 10 platinum pieces and 50 gold. So a platinum is 10 gold. So it's not as heavy as carrying around like 100 gold, basically.
Yeah.
So he looks up and he says, one more thing. There is a group of people even now who seek the tier, and they want to use the tier as well as other specific, very unique magical components to basically destroy this world. They will have no compulsion about killing you to take the tier. So, don't let that happen. Remember that we wish to preserve this world and to simply remove those who would wish to manipulate it, who are in power for their own selfish needs. This is important. So, I hope that this gold and platinum, well, it should be more than enough to get you across the country, but be careful, be safe. Oh, one more thing. I thought you might need these. He reaches down into a small, it looks like a jewelry box, but it's kind of bigger. And he opens it up and he hands you each 2 small red vials of liquid. He goes, these are healing potions. They might be helpful along the way, although I'm certain that you, through your access to the divine, could conduct healing. I've learned often the hard way that sometimes it can be dangerous when there's only 2 people and many enemies, and some of whom you don't even know whether or not they're enemies or friends, so be careful. When you get to Kadimki-Kala, there is an inn. I will have reserved rooms there for you. So when you get to the inn of the Rusty Chest, make sure that you let them know that you are here to see Lord Fainuk. I will have rooms for you there. Tell no one of the tier. He's like, excellent.
One question before
Yes.
we go.
Yes.
Should we be keeping this thing in a cloth? And I just point to the cloth. You say that people are using it, wizards are using it. Is it dangerous? Do you know what it does?
Yes. I know precisely what it does. It enhances any spell dealing with the element of fire. It's a godstone.
Is it safe to just carry around, or should we be...
Certainly. Safe to carry as in touching it?
Yeah.
Yes, touch it. It won't burn you.
So I place 2 fingers on it
It feels warm. Now, safe to use in conjunction with magic? That is another topic. Do you use any magic involving fire?
I don't think so.
It can be used to enhance basically any magic that involves the element of fire. However, one must do so carefully. Now, a stone that size is not going to destroy an entire city. It may enhance your fire magic, let's say. A stone the size of a billiard ball would be much more powerful. The stone the size of a watermelon would be significantly much more powerful. The larger the stones are, the more exponentially powerful they become.
Okay. And we'll be sure to keep it safe for you.
Yes, of course. Now, as to whether it is safe to travel with it, well, as you may have ascertained, there are certain magic users, wizards and others, who have, through divination magic, the ability to locate certain kinds of magic or certain objects if the objects are known to them. And that is more what I'm concerned about. You traveling with it is, I would think, relatively safe. However, those who might seek it, that's another story. If it is known to them, they might be able to track it down. So I suggest you keep on the move, watch your backs. When you feel necessary, avoid population centers. And I shall meet you in Kadimki Kala in 2 weeks' time. So I bid you farewell and good luck. And I will see you soon. He opens the door to his carriage. You guys get out. He motions to the driver, and the driver's like, whoosh, and the carriage takes off. So you guys are in town. You know where the stables are. You've seen them. So
we'll just go to the stables first.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. You guys actually get there, and there's like another couple like younger kids who are like stable hands that are, brushing horses and shoveling poo and things like that. But then there's like an older guy who clearly is like the stable master, and he sees you and he's like, "Good day. In search of stabling or horses?"
Yes, sir. We're here to inquire a couple horses. We don't need anything too harsh, just a pair that can travel well.
Certainly. I have some nice riding horses. Not too young and not too old. In fact, he brings you over towards the yard, and there's like 8 horses just kind of grazing around in this big field, and it's fenced in. And he sends one of the stable kids out, and they bring back a couple horses. They both look pretty healthy. He goes through the whole process. If you guys have animal handling, you can make a roll, but otherwise he basically walks you around the horse. Literally, it's like buying a car. He's like, "Look at their teeth," and he pulls her, and you're like, "I don't know what the hell that means." But they, the teeth seem to be in good order, no rot. You don't see any visible injuries or wounds. The stable kids ride them back and forth. They ride in a straight line. They're not limping or anything. And after that, he's like, "So, what say you to 30 gold each?"
30 gold each. I say I can respect a stable man. I could say that, but maybe for horses like these, they are fine horses, but I don't know if maybe we could find a little lower of a price.
Roll persuasion.
Go.
That's 13.
Okay. He's like, "I'll tell you what. Keep it at 30, but I'll throw in the saddles, blankets, and enough grain for the road to get you at least 4 days travel."
I'll say, I think that we're good on saddles and blankets and food. I just think that maybe my friend here was saying 20 gold each. And I just kind of stand over him because I'm how
Roll
tall is he?
intimidation.
Okay. 'Cause I'm ridiculously tall right now.
Yes.
Intimidation. 8. Dang it.
He's like, "With all due respect, I'm willing to make a bargain. I could sell you the horses for 25 gold each, but you're still going to have to throw a couple gold each for the saddles and blankets and the food, unless you just simply hope that you're going to graze your horses, but that's awfully time consuming."
How about I say, if at least, because we're traveling folk, it's not that we can't make a deal here. How about if it's about if you throw in the saddles and we just bring it down to 27 gold. You know, we want to feel like we're winning.
Roll persuasion.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's a 19.
He's like, oh, okay. 27 gold each. I'll throw in the saddles and blankets, the bit and bridle, and 4 days of food per horse.
Sounds like a fine deal.
Excellent. He's like, boys, get some saddles on those horses. So, about 20 minutes later, after shoveling a bunch of oats and grain and stuff into these saddlebags and blankets, saddles, all that stuff, bit and bridle, the horses are ready to go. He collects the money from you guys, and you're off. So, the main east-west road through Kabul Kailish is actually doesn't go right through this small town. So you guys kind of head a little bit southwest first to catch that, and then you get on it and you're kind of going due west. So throughout this travel, I'm going to have each one of you make a roll for random encounters. All right. So Jenny, roll first. D20.
15.
Okay. The first, 4 hours of your trip is just happy riding through the countryside time. Your horses are clip-clop, 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 clip-clop. You know, you make great time. You stop to stretch every once in a while. Jordan, making the next roll.
2.
Okay.
Party time.
The next 4 hours, you're traveling along. And by the way, in the first 4 hours, you actually encountered other people along the road. There would be farmers with a cart, or just random people on some horses, or occasionally a carriage. Sometimes you'd walk by and there'd be pilgrims, people literally just walking. The second half of your journey for the day, in the late afternoon, is where you start to notice less traffic. And you guys actually get about 2 hours along, kind of the same pace of nothing really big going on. And you notice there's just fewer people. And then another hour goes by and you're like, wait, have we seen anyone in the last hour? No, nobody. No carts, no people, nothing. You're kind of way out in the country, and there just haven't been any people. And then, probably late afternoon, early evening, there's still light out, but the sun's starting to go down. You see kind of off to the north from the road, you notice that there's a lot of you're not sure if it's fog or dust or smoke, but there's maybe a mile away, there's just a lot more material in the air.
Okay.
But it's easily a mile away to the north. So it's kind of on the horizon to the north, but you could see it from where you are.
Okay. Are we headed straight into it?
No,
Oh.
you're going west.
Okay.
It's up here.
So then we'll just maybe move a little bit in the other direction to stay away from it.
A lot of material.
When you see smoke on the horizon, or exhaust from factories and stuff on the horizon, that's kind of what it looks like. Far away, mile or two away, to the north of you guys, there's just a lot of haze in the air. You're not sure if it's smoke or dust or what it is.
I would like to stop area for a second, have the horse come to a trot, and just ask her, that seems very unlikely.
Smoke?
It could be just a camp, but I'm concerned what might be over there. I mean,
It's
if
not
you-
a little bit of smoke. It's not like a campfire. It's a lot of smoke or fog or dust. You're not really sure from this distance.
No, I'm open to your opinion. We can, if you would prefer to continue on our trail, we may do so, but I just find concern with this smoke. It could be something dangerous. It could be something, at least worth checking out. Make sure there's no innocence over there. Just seems like trouble.
Okay, we can go check for people, but if we're gonna go over there, you keep that thing hidden. If that's smoke and that's fire, I don't want that anywhere near there.
I would agree with you on that one.
So, do we want to, like, go closer to it, kind of set up a little place, and then check it out?
We don't need to go bustling in, making noise, but maybe just to get a little closer, try to see what's going on out there. If it's something that does not concern us, we can get right out of there.
There are some groves of trees to the north, off-road. So if you're saying like you'd like to ride up closer and then tie the horses off and then sneak up, you could try that.
Yeah, I'd say that's the best way. All right.
Okay. So you guys kind of turn off-road. You ride for a couple hundred yards. As you get closer, you can definitely see that this is more like fire and multiple sources of fire, like something is burning down or has been burned down and maybe still currently burning. It's just a lot of smoke in the air. You get a little closer, and it looks like maybe this is a small hamlet, like smaller than a village. A hamlet's like, a collection of a few farms and maybe a couple shared communal buildings and houses. Like sometimes there's 4 houses in a hamlet, sometimes there's 12, right? But it's kind of smaller than a village. Let's say that you're about 300 yards away. There's a grove of trees where you can tie off your horses if you want to approach further on foot or try to sneak up.
Do you want to stay on your horse? Or do we just both want to go on foot? Just in case something's bad.
Because if there is something bad, I might prefer to be on my horse. I feel more comfortable with a mount.
Okay. Then we'll just tie mine up.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll keep the tier on you because I don't feel safe leaving it unattended, but just be careful.
At the very least, if I have my mount, if something happens, I can get away with it.
You can run. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so here's what you're going to come to. There are a few little cottages that have not been completely burned down. Some of them made of stone. The ones that were made of wood are pretty much decimated. And there are some trees around, kind of like the perimeter where you can see
Whoa. We've got full foliage.
And some of the trees have been definitely damaged by fire. And some seem to be kind of okay. So these 3 buildings are the only ones still standing. There are a few other buildings that are just completely burned to the ground. But even these have like scorch marks and burn marks and stuff. As you get closer, say within like 50 feet of this scene, you notice a whole bunch of like what look like commoners scattered around the village. Yeah, that's about right. Children,
Bodies.
men, women, old, young, and they're all dead.
Rip.
Okay.
Let's start by making perception rolls, people.
8.
11.
Okay. You guys pretty much, as you get closer, notice the obvious. Number one, these people all look like commoners who maybe lived in the area. They're all dead. You don't notice any like warrior types among them. Like you don't see any people that were like wearing armor with a shield and a sword. Like the most closest thing that you see to that is like a couple farmers with like shovels and pitchforks, like farm tools, who look like maybe they tried to fight back but were killed and now they're like cut apart. Some of them are burned, some of them aren't, but all of them are dead. You notice that the roof of this little cottage is mostly burned up, but the cottage itself still seems to be intact structurally. There's like a door that's like, looks like it was kicked in or smashed in. Same thing with this cottage. It's, even though it's stone, like the roof has like scorch marks all over it. The door is also, doesn't look like it was smashed. The door to that one looks like it was somehow blown apart, like through force or flame. There's like scorch marks around the edge. That building, that small cottage, also made of stone, looks the most intact. And that one, you see the door actually isn't broken open or anything. The door seems to be intact. The windows are shuttered with like wooden shutters.
Okay. Which one are we going to go to first?
Oh, I'd say let's try the closest one first. Try to stay around the casualties.
Okay. So we'll just go up to like the door of that one and just kind of
The one that's intact?
Yes.
All right, so the door's on the side.
Is it that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, okay.
And as you guys approach, I'll have you make another perception roll, each one of you guys.
1. 7. Jesus.
Okay.
So bad.
You guys don't see anything other than what you initially noticed. And as you go to the door, you see, again, it doesn't seem to have taken any damage. Like, it doesn't show any evidence of like hacking or, pounding or anything or blasts. It's intact. Looks like strong, good, like old-fashioned wood with like metal banding across it. And there's a handle to open the door. You go to try it.
Okay. I'll just walk up and I'll just kind of like rap on the door a little bit and see if I hear anything from inside.
Okay. There's no response.
Okay. I'll just try the door.
Seems to be locked. Maybe with some kind of like deadbolt from the inside. Some kind of like it's got a little wiggle, but it's definitely secured on the inside somehow.
Do we want to try the window? Unless you think you can get in this door.
I wouldn't know how.
Okay.
Yeah, we could try.
We can go look in the window?
Yeah. Well, so the window is like wooden shutters that have been closed.
Okay.
And there's like little, a seam, so you can kind of try to pry it. But you notice, like, you can even see through the seam that there's like a wood deadbolt on the inside.
Okay.
So like whoever closed this up did so from the inside.
Okay.
Same with the other windows on the other side.
What do you want to do? Do you want to try the other cottages first and then we can come back? Because this means either that somebody's in there and locked themselves after this.
While you guys are literally at the like second window talking about this, you hear a voice go like, "Hello, is someone alive out there?
Yes.
Hello,
Who are you? Are you
my name's Jaramis. Is it safe to come out?
We don't know yet. We just got here. We don't.
Is my father still there?
Your father?
Yes. Is anybody out there?
The only people out here right now are dead. I'm sorry.
What? Well,
Just hold on. Do you want to explain what happened?
who are you?
We're just travelers. We came across a lot of smoke and a lot of fire, and we came to see if there were any survivors.
You hear something move behind the window, and you see the window, like the deadbolt's been removed, and the window kind of opens up a creak. And you see the face of like a young human boy. You estimate maybe he's like 12. And he's like looking out at you guys, and he's like, huh. He's like, huh.
It's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We're here to help.
You see he looks beyond you guys, like at the bodies, and he's like,
Can I step in front?
and he's like, he just starts crying. He's like, Aunt Marta. He's like, where's my father?
We'll find your father, okay? But right now I just need you to tell me if you remember anything happening.
We were out in the fields, and my father said to go and lock up inside the house and not to open for anyone.
Did you see anything while you were in the fields?
We saw horsemen coming. There was many of them, and they were coming fast, and Father told us to go and lock up.
Did you notice anything about these horsemen, or were they too far away for you to see them?
They were far away. I wanted to see them, but they were far away, and Father told us to lock up.
Are you alone?
And then you hear another voice go like, who's out there? And then you see like this little head pop up, and it's like a little girl who's maybe like 8 or 9. She has like long, kind of matted hair and stuff, and she like looks at you guys, and she's like, and like hides again. And he's like, it's okay, Treza. They're here. They're travelers. They saw the smoke. And then she's like, is Papa out there? And he's like, no. And he pushes her head down. He's like, Papa's out in the fields. He'll be back soon. Just stay hiding. And he looks at you guys, and he's like, can you help us?
Yes, we can. What?
Is anyone else still alive?
We still have to check. We just came up and we just saw this place, and it wasn't burned yet. We just wanted to make sure everyone in here was okay.
It's just me and my sister, Treza.
Okay.
Are there other people hiding in other cottages? Maybe my father's there.
We'll check. Do you know what your father looks like?
Yes, he's a strong man. He's very tall, and he has a long brown beard, and he has a wide-brimmed hat for working in the fields.
Okay, we may check the other cottages. While we are gone, you should lock your window back. Keep still. Do not answer anything else until you hear our voices again.
Okay. And he closes the shutter, and you hear like...
Okay. Can we check, like, the bodies, if there's anything that match that description?
Yep. So it takes about 5 minutes of just walking around before you find, like, a tall, strong, hardy-looking farmer guy with a beard and several gaping holes. Actually, you know what? Make investigation checks, or if you have proficiency with medicine. Either one. I will let you do some forensics. You can...
I have neither.
Okay.
Well, I
Wow.
20.
You guys are...
20.
All of a sudden, you got a 20, you got a nat.
Oh, you got a nat 20? Nice.
Okay. So now you get like the full diagnosis. You guys are looking at these corpses, and you're like, yes, these people were definitely slain by like professionals who know how to kill people. Because all of the wounds are either slashing wounds like swords, or like big gaping piercing holes. Not the kind of piercing that you'd get from an arrow or a rapier, but from like a lance, like big holes. Like gored and then dumped off of a lance. So these people were just wholesale slaughtered. And then as you're looking around, because of your nat 20, beyond just the medical forensic of like how they were killed, you notice hoof prints everywhere. Big, thick, heavy hoof prints. Big horses that have horseshoes.
So I want to whisper.
Heavy heavy warhorse kind of heavy horses.
I maybe these are the same people we'd seen before.
And I'll just like yell, like, you don't have to whisper. Or I won't yell, but I'll just say, you don't have to whisper. We already know who killed these people. And then I just go like storming off towards one of the cottages.
Yeah, before I follow Area, I do want to I want to move the father's body, just move it out of like this gore, so it's like away from everything.
You feel like maybe moving the bodies is a good idea in general, because you could easily, like between the two of you, you have the strength to pick up or drag most of them so that
I'll
they're
just
like
put 'em
by
up.
the trees
Yeah.
over here and not right out where the children would see. So go ahead and move the minis to like
That's true.
beyond that grove of trees. And that doesn't really take that long. Like you're not, it's like 40, 50 feet at the longest. So let's say you take an additional 10 minutes, okay? As you go to the second cottage, you notice again that it's made of stone. This door was definitely blown open by magic. This does not look like there's scorch marks on the side of it. Like somebody did something big to this door. Because also the doors open outside, like they open this way. This one was like boom, like blew in. So somebody hurled something big at that. Structurally, it seems okay. When you look in, you notice that this might have been like a cottage where one person lived as opposed to like a family. Okay? There's literally one bed. There's like a table with a chair. There's like a little kitchen area with like plates and stuff and a thing where food was stored, some shelves and a pantry. And a desk in front of the window with like a little candelabra for candles and stuff. And that's the most sense that you can make of what you see, because everything that I just described has been just beaten up. Like somebody went in there with hammers and just smashed it all, and just there's broken plates and mugs and everything. The table's broken, the chair's broken, like everything is broken. The bed is like ripped up, like the burlap sacks stuffed with hay, or it's like just a mess, right? The whole thing. The desk with the candles by the window, like smashed. There's papers all over the place. It just looks like people went to this building and just went through it and totally tore it up.
Okay.
But it's not completely burned out, so.
Is there like anything that we can see that survived, like paper, like certain papers, or like
Yes.
anything else?
So there are some blank sheets of parchment and like a quill and, an inkwell. The inkwell is like broken and splattered on the floor. But there are also a few sheets of paper where you notice things. A lot of it seems like very mundane at first, like just basically like deeds, like who owns this land from the gray stone to the old petrified tree. It's like basically surveys of like who owns what land and like whose farm belongs to who. And then there's like family trees of like the Johanssons who owned the farm from this many generations back. And you get the sense, actually make a history roll. Either one of you, both of you, doesn't matter.
6.
19.
Okay. In the absence of like an official town, a lot of times like local hamlets or farmers will have like a place where, they keep all of their like family records and stuff. And there's someone who's literate, who can literally read and write, who does that in their community, however small it is. This seems to be that. This seems to be some kind of like basic record of things. There's even like tallies of like crops, like from the last 7 seasons of like how many, wagon loads of wheat did they bring to the town and how many to sell, and how many did they, and which winters were hard and, where they've stowed away grain and stuff like that.
Okay. I think we should continue to the next cottage.
Okay.
Make one more investigation roll, each one of you.
2.
Investigation. 17.
Okay. You're going through stuff, it's just torn up. You're going through stuff, mundane paperwork, farms, crops, debts that people owe each other. Then you get to like another ledger book that seems to be kind of like back to the land, subdivision of the land and plots of land. But this one seems odd to you because it's actually showing like when they tilled each plot of land. So it actually has some like maps of like the local farms, and there's like grids drawn out of like this was tilled, this plot of land on Farmer John's land was tilled 3 falls ago, you know, and then like each sheet kind of has records of like what was tilled. But then you also kind of notice these little, every once in a while you see like nothing found. And then like a couple pages later, like nothing found. Nothing found. And then as you're flipping through and you're noticing this, you get towards the back of the book, which seems to be like the most recent stuff, and you notice that 3 pages have been torn out.
Okay, I'll just pick it up and I'll show it to you and I'll say they're looking for something. We already know this, but I think these people in this town are also looking for something. Do you think it could be that?
I don't know if it's possible that such farm folk would comprehend it, but there could be something important in this.
Well, these pages are torn out, so I'm thinking whoever blew down this door took these pages, which means that there's something in the fields or that they're, you know, looking for something out there.
I wouldn't put it past that. I think this book would be useful to hold on to.
Okay. I'll shove it in my stuff.
Okay.
And then we'll go to the next cottage.
Okay. The next cottage has suffered the most damage because it's like a thatch roof. Mm-hmm. So basically when you get there, like structurally it seems okay. The main supports for the roof are okay, but there are patches where it's just like, because it's remember, it's like evening. It's like twilight right now. So there's like patches of light where the roof collapsed. So when you guys like open the door, there's like parts of the roof that have collapsed and are maybe like still like kind of smoking and smoldering a little bit. This looks like it maybe might have been like a family cottage. Like you notice there's like smaller bunks where children might have slept. And then there's like a couple beds over there like for that are adult size, and a kitchen and a table with like 6 chairs, and not much more than that because it's not a very big thing. But go ahead and roll investigation.
11.
17.
Okay, so you're searching around, you find a lot of the mundane stuff. As you're searching around, you notice there's like a hand-woven like throw rug basically. And you notice that like it kind of seems to be like, imagine this was the floor and where the throw rug is like this. Like there's something under it.
Okay. So just motion to be quiet, and I'll motion for you to get to the other side of the rug with me. And then we'll just lift it up.
There's a trap door.
Oh.
It seems to be big enough for like somebody to go down. There's a small like metal ring to lift it up. That's what was kind of poking up under the rug.
Does
So-
it look like it's been touched at all? Or like,
No,
okay.
it does not.
Okay.
And part of the reason I should mention, part of the reason why it doesn't look like it's been touched is because there was a bunch of other crap that collapsed all around it, like roof timbers and thatching and stuff.
It doesn't look like someone's like pulled the rug up recently.
No,
Look,
no.
okay.
Okay, so I want to slowly kind of open the trap door.
Okay. You guys have dark vision?
You do,
I
I
do.
think. I don't.
Okay. You could see down, there's a wooden ladder that's affixed to a post right under where this thing hinges. And it goes down, not even, I mean, it's like 6 feet. Like, you could probably go down there and stand up, but she'd be like, hello? And like, it's a very small cellar space. Dirt and like rocks for the floor. That's it. But it's basically the same footprint underneath this small cellar. So you want to go look at it?
Yeah. I want to go down.
Okay. So you're kind of up there by the trapdoor?
I'm up there,
Okay.
like, keeping a look around outside too.
Okay. So you go down. What you see down there are a bunch of really shabby shelves that have like random things on them, like keepsakes, old tools, some tools that are like broken and rusty and others that are okay. You notice there's like a couple crates, like wood crates on stones. You like can open them up. They have hinged lids and there's like dry foods. Like this looks like kind of a place where they kept stuff. You even find like another shelf that has like some cheese and like dried meats on it and stuff. You could take an
Alright.
investigation roll if you want to look around more, or if you want to go down there with like a lantern, you could, but
I'll just like take my lantern out and I'll hand it down to you, and then as I'm handing it down, I'll just say, "Do you have enough to pack maybe a couple extra bags of what's down there?"
I'd say I could fit a couple.
there are like burlap sacks too that you guys could load up.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
I'll
just
just
load up.
yeah.
A sack for each. Sound good?
Yeah, and then fill up one more. Just fill up one more, and then I'll throw down the lantern because I don't think I can get down there because I'm just really big. But I'll keep a guard on.
So you kind of scoop stuff up. You put like the dried meat and cheese in a bag. You put a bunch of the grains in a bag, and basically you easily fill up all 3 bags with food. There's like oats and other stuff down there. There's actually a couple bottles of you think is maybe like wine. You're not sure, but so you pass those things up, and then you're looking around. So make an investigation roll.
3.
Okay. Other than the food, there doesn't seem to really be a lot of things of value there that you could see. It just seems like basically a place for like extra storage, and also maybe the equivalent of a cool cellar. It is slightly cooler underneath the house, and that maybe is why they kept some of the stuff there.
Okay. I think if I've searched everything, I'll come back up. Okay. Because I think we've found just about all we can.
Okay. Are we headed out to the fields to look around there, or should we go back to the kids that are there?
I did want to ask you, I feel bad for these children as they're all alone, but I also feel this might just be, my old distrust for everything, but I just feel a sense of, I would love to help them, leave them some food or such, but I don't know if bringing them somewhere would help us. I'm not sure what to do with them.
I think we can talk about what to do with them after we just finish clearing everything out, because if anybody's still here,
Okay.
so go out and then look around for the fields.
Okay. You're into twilight. The sun's going down, but you still have enough light to kind of look. So how far out in a perimeter do you want to search the fields?
Do you want to use your book? Your, survey book.
Oh yeah, the survey book. I'll pull it out and see any place where it says not found or whatever.
Okay. Well, so as you're looking around, you see that outside of this little hamlet, you're kind of getting acquainted with the map. You could see there's another farmhouse, maybe a quarter of a mile that way, and then another farmhouse out there. So there are other farmhouses out in the area that seem to not be this hamlet that are in this book. And there's fields associated with them. You look at the maps in the book and the ledgers and stuff, and you see some of the markers. You're like, oh, look, that must be the petrified tree, because it's literally a tree by itself in the middle of that field right over here. And that must be it, which marks their farm. And then, you see some other landmarks, and oh, that must be the southern grove by the creek down there. But curiously, those other farms that are kind of further out don't look like they've been burned down or attacked.
Are there any fields that are like associated with this hamlet that are like close by?
Yeah, I mean, there's basically like each quadrant. Like there's an east, west, north, and south field that are owned by different people from this hamlet.
Okay. Do we want to search this field then and see if there's anything close by that they're looking for? Because those don't look touched.
Yeah, well, we could take a minute to just check around this field, see anything important.
Okay. I'll let you choose. You can roll perception or investigation. Perception would be like you're walking out in the fields just hoping to stumble onto something cool. Investigation's more like you're systematically like, I'm going to walk specifically this route, scouring for specifically this thing.
I'll just do perception.
10.
18.
Okay. You're walking out and you're like, fields. You're walking out and you're like, fields that have been trampled by a colonnade of horses, heavy horses, and it's going that way. Like, clear as, you're like, there's the path where the buffalo went. Like, you could just see, like, they just tore through the fields and then headed that way, which, by the way, is west.
Okay.
So I do want to draw Severi's attention. Sure, like, oh, they must be going west, so it's possible we will see them later if we're heading in the same direction.
Yeah. If we go fast enough, we might be able to stop them.
That's true.
But before we go, there are 2 children in a cottage that I can't just leave here alone. They're the only ones in this hamlet who haven't been gored.
Well, I may sound a little bit crazy, but even though I do agree, if they are innocent children, I would not want to leave them here alone. I do just feel a pang of distrust and wonder if why they are the only ones left alive. We may bring them if you'd like, but I just do want to make sure they know nothing of the tier.
I don't know about bringing them. Would I know if there's any like towns that are close by or any other places?
Like I said, you see like a farm in each cardinal direction that doesn't look like it's been burned down.
Okay.
We could try to bring them to a close by farm.
Yeah, we could do that. Just drop them off, because I don't want them coming with us. Because it's too dangerous to bring them if we're gonna be hunting these guys down. But I feel bad about leaving them here alone. They're just young kids.
That's true.
So we'll just go back to the first. And we'll go knock on the window again and just say, hey,
Okay.
it's us.
The boy opens up again and he's like, is it safe? Did you find anyone alive?
We haven't found everyone. But we don't know yet. But it's safe now to come out.
It's almost dark.
Yes, but we decided we can't leave you here by yourselves. So, do you know about the other farmhouses around here?
He's like, yes, well, the Donals are to the west. Is it safe to go there?
We can accompany there, bring you and your sister, and Dad will probably be safer there than left in this town.
He's like, I will open the door for you. He closes the shutter and he goes over and you hear the deadbolt. And then the door opens, kind of creaks open. So you notice this house has not been completely decimated. Like, this is definitely like a family looking house. And he's like, come, Treza, we must pack our sacks with some things. We're going to the neighbors. We're going to the Donalds. And she's like, okay. And she seems tired, but they start like packing their stuff into like burlap sacks.
I'll just like pull you aside like where they can't hear us, and I'll say, I'll go get my horse. I'll take the kids with me. Do you want to look around here a little bit? You feel so distrusting of this place. Do you want to see what's going on?
It is.
Because
Maybe
my horse isn't that far away. It's like 300 yards.
I do. If it is getting dark, though, I might just want to accompany you guys to ensure the safety of them.
Okay. Well, do you want me to start walking and you can take a quick peek and then join us?
Okay.
So
They pack up their stuff.
I'll just like take the kids.
Yeah.
Can I pick them both up? Because I'm like huge.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just pick them both up and I'll just say, let's go get my horse. And then we're just gonna start walking slowly, like keeping an eye out,
Okay.
but looking for my horse.
You get back, get your horse. They get on.
Okay. And then we'll slowly start walking back. I'll have them like on the horse and I'll just be like leading the horse.
Okay. So you, in the meantime, are going to do a more thorough investigation?
Yeah.
Okay. So you kind of start working the perimeter on your way out around the fields. Make another investigation roll. Good thing you have dark vision.
16.
Okay. So by the time you walk down, get to your horse, get back, she's been out searching for like a half an hour. You come across an area of a field to the west. It looks like the horses went to that spot. You notice that there's this, in the middle of this patch of crops, there's this enormous pit that's been dug out. It doesn't look like it was dug out recently. Looks like it's been dug out for a long time. But it's about 20 feet deep and like 10 feet wide. It's almost like a bigger version of the cellar that you saw under that house, right? And it looks like, you know, the earth was excavated over a long time. There's even like shovels still there. There's some wooden like platforms and stuff where it looks like people were starting to build, like, you're not really sure because you're not like an engineer, but it looks like they were maybe excavating and like had plans of going further. You search the whole area. There's nothing really distinguishable in the pit. And you notice the horse tracks seem to arrive at this and then head off again to the west. So you come back, you fill her in on this. You guys get on your horses and take these kids to the neighboring farm. Okay. You get to the neighboring farm and it's kind of like a ghost town. Like they have like a pen with like a couple pigs and there's like a chicken coop and stuff like that. You notice there's like a flickering light inside. Just like a candle light though. So you guys get off your horses.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Knock on the door.
Yeah.
Okay. An old man answers the door and he opens the door a little bit and he looks out at you guys and he's like, "Oh, well, what do you want? We don't have anything here."
Sorry to disturb you in this late in the evening, sir. We're travelers and we came across what happened in that nearby town. And these children here, I want to gesture to...
They're up on the horse. I just
They're
have
on
them
the
both sitting
horse.
on the horse with me.
Gesture.
He looks up on the horse and he sees them and he's like, "By the gods, what happened?"
As far as we can tell, some kind of...
Was it the
Raid.
barbarians? Was it a horde?
They had horses. I'm not sure if barbarians usually...
No, I don't think so. The quotient usually move on foot.
Yeah. These weren't your barbarians. But whoever it is, they're gone now. And,
The town has been slaughtered. The only surviving people we could find were these two children here, and being traveling people, we couldn't leave them alone in an empty home, so we wanted to bring them here, see if we could...
Ethel! And he yells back and this old lady comes to the door and basically they they accept. They accept that they will take care of the kids, and tomorrow morning they'll reach out to some of the other neighbors and see what they can do to help like restore what's going on. They ask you though, the old man asks you, like after the kids are settled inside, he's like, could you please send word? We need help. Please, send word to the magistrate for our region. Or if you're going to the capital, tell them of what's happened here. There's too many darn bandits and barbarians and all these sorts of things. The theocracy should be protecting us from this evil. Please.
Do you know what's the name of this place so we can tell people?
It's Maynard's Hamlet. I just made that up. It doesn't matter. It'll never come up again. All you have to do is remember to basically tell someone.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he tells you, and you know, you guys know the region well enough. And he thanks you for being kind-hearted and for delivering the children into his care, where he will later eat them. No, I'm just kidding. Evil campaign. All right. But basically, then he thanks you. He's like, "Are you traveling at night?" He's like, "We don't have much space, but if you want, you could stay."
We can stay outside for the night if you want. Just stay nearby.
He's like, I have room in the stables. It's not that bad. It's pretty clean.
Okay.
He takes you out there with a lantern. And like, it's not bad. Like, it doesn't look like he's actively farming anymore. You assume that maybe like he has younger people working his land. The stables are pretty clean. There's a couple stalls that like have no hay in them, so they're pretty clean. He goes over to a shelf and he pulls down some blankets and like shakes them out. They're a little dusty, but they're clean enough. And he's like, for you, thank you. He's like, we will have breakfast in the morning. We have plenty of meats and some grains. You can have some porridge with us, and perhaps even the chickens will have laid some eggs by then. We'll see.
Thank you.
And then he goes back into his house. So, you guys settle in. You got your horses in some stables. You're sleeping in the stable literally right across from them. It's not too bad. It's not the worst traveling that you have ever had on the road. There's a light rain at night, so you're happy that you're not soaking wet. You sleep relatively well. Everybody gets a full rest, so you recoup your hit die. Let's say that in the morning you wake up, your morning prayers.
Yep. I'll just like go up behind the stables, do a quick prayer, and then come back.
Make a percentile roll, Jordan.
Oh no. Okay, how do I do this? I have more percent.
That's your tens, and then the other one is your ones.
Which one?
That.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just roll up.
Mm-hmm. 20? No, 72.
72.
Okay, good. Your prayers all go out well, and your prepared spells are now re-imbued into your mind, thanks to
What would happen if it was a bad roll?
the power of Ayotte. In fact, in the morning after you're like finishing your prayers up, you wake up and she's like, and like there's incense burning, and then basically you guys kind of like brush off, go to the farm. The old lady's like welcomes you in, sit down at the table. They have like a little bit of eggs, a little bit of porridge, some like basically like beef jerky, and like a fresh loaf of bread. So everybody gets like a slice and some butter. So you have this little like happy country farm breakfast, and then you guys are on your way. The kids seem to be like okay, still maybe a little shell shocked from the events, but they seem to be okay.
Before we, like, as we're heading out, I'll just be like, oh, one more thing. And I'll, like, go to my horse, and I'll take one of the big bags of food and stuff that we brought, and I'll give it. And I'll say, this is for you and for them and for your hospitality. And I'll hand them the big bag of food.
Thank you. You're generous and kind. May the gods watch over you on the road. Be careful.
Thank you. And then we'll get up on our horses and go.
Okay. You head back down to the east-west road and continue your journey west across the countryside, the somewhat dangerous countryside of Kabul Kailash. And we'll find out what happens now in the next episode of the B Team with Jennie and Jordan. Peace out, bye.